Hi everyone. So my name is Joyce, honestly, and I'll be taking us through on how to use Microsoft Excel for basic data cleaning. And so I want you to work with me as we work on each of them. So I've listed like 8 basic data cleaning that we can do here on Microsoft Excel. So the first thing we're working on is clear formatting. So how do we clear all the formatting that has been performed on these sheets? So basically the easiest way to do this is to, highlight all the records, right? Control Shift down, arrow key down, yeah. So and you go to your home tab, right? And under your home tab, you have editing. So under editing, you can see this where my cursor is. Let me just quickly use the pen icon. So you can see where my cursor is, right? So this is your icon. So the next thing for you to do is to click on the drop down, right? Click on the drop down and clear formatting. So as soon as you do that, we'll see that the formatting has been cleared for the areas where we selected. If you look down to the last number 19, there was no record was highlighted, so it wasn't cleared, so it's still there. So that's basically how to do that. So the next thing to work with is aggregates. So we want to see how we can use aggregate function, right, to calculate the average sum of these prices. We have the ID, the manager. Please bear with me, the noise just too much. So we have ID, manager, and for the manager, for the different companies, we have Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta, Sprite, and the likes. And the unit price of each of these items, and then the price, the units sold, and then the price. So we want to perform an average function. So let's just quickly go into that average. Average returns the average of each of these. So using the cell range you're working with is F3 down to F15. So when I click on that, you see what happens. It's still giving me the division error we have. So what we now need to do is to use an aggregate function. Aggregate function helps to omit, to ignore errors and so many other parameters. But for this purpose, this course, this training, we'll just be looking at how to just ignore error values, right? So I'm going to use my aggregate function, right? So the first parameter is to put in the function you want to perform, an average or a sum or a count or a maximum. So I'm performing an average. So you click on it or you type 1, right? And then next thing to do is to put in the ignore error values, which is number 6. You can double click on it or you type 6. So you use a comma to take you to the next parameter, which is array. I want to select the array I'm using. So I'm using F3 down to F5, F15, right? So then click equal to. So it omits, despite the errors we have here, it's still giving us the results, because that's what aggregate function does. It ignores hidden records. So the next thing we're going into quickly is how to identify errors. Sometimes you have a whole lot of records and you can't basically see what is going on, if there are errors, and you just perform a function, and to your surprise, it's giving you an error. You start looking for where these errors are coming from. So there is an easy way to just, highlight your records and then see where these errors are coming from. So let's use Control Shift, arrow to the right, Control Shift down, arrow. So we're going to go into the same place we used, this guy, home, editing. So let me use my pen again. So this time around, we need to select this guy here, right? Find and select. So you click on the drop down menu we have there, drop down button we have there. So you go to special, right? Click on go to special. As soon as you do that, it takes you to this dialog box where you have select, and you see that note is selected. I don't want note to be selected. I want to see only error values. So click on formula, uncheck all these other items here and leave the error, right? And click on OK. So as soon as you do that, you can see what just happened. The division error becomes visible, and I can change the color, go to your background color and change it, and and I can easily know where these errors are coming from, right? And if I perform my aggregate function or do whatever I want to do. So the next I'm looking at is to replace wildcard. So we can see we have ampersand represent one of the wildcards here, and ampersand and family, Joyce Okodo, and ampersand and 9M. This is also known as ampersand. So 9M, I need to remove all records from the ampersand to 9M, right? So I don't want to see this and this 9M here for every record. So what can I do? Instead of going to write a function to on split and the lights, so you can just go straight forward to use Control H, find and replace, or you go to this same menu where we have editing, you click on replace, right? So I want to replace this symbol, right, with an order and remove all other records after it. So I want to replace this symbol ampersand and every record after it with nothing. So find what? Find these people. Sorry, I'm using people. Find these guys and remove and then replace it with nothing. I just want to see the first name and the last name of the record I have. So replace all. Right, so all done. We made 7 replacements. Okay, thank you very much for that. And then you can click on close. Now we have our record cleaned up. So the next thing you're doing is a test join. So test join is basically a function that helps to concatenate records together from 1 column, 2 column, 3 column together as 1 column. So just basically going into it straight up. So the first thing to do writing a function is to put in a function an equal to and then the function name. So we're looking at TEXTJOIN. TEXTJOIN helps to concatenate a list or range of text string using a delimiter. I'm going to show you what delimiter is right now. So the first parameter to put in is a delimiter. Delimiter can be /, a dash, underscore. So whatever special character using serve as a delimiter too. It can be a space, it can be a comma, it can be a dot. So anything that helps to differentiate the first text from the second text, or the second text from the third text, whatever structure or format you want it to be placed. So in this case now, I want to see day, right? Day, month, and year. So I want to use a / to separate each of them. So / is a character here. So we have to put it in quotation. Yeah. So the next parameter is to ignore empty. Yes, I want to ignore empty. So double click on true. So the next parameter is to put in the fields required. So I'm starting from the dates, right? The next parameter is the month, and the next parameter is the year. So you choose the format you want to represent your own date. So but I want my own to be a year, a month, date, and year. So as soon as I do that, you see what we have. We have it outlined there. So you can just double click autofill to see all other records. But my problem here is that the records I have are all displayed on the left-hand side. That means that they are all text field. You can see the name we have. They're all displayed on the left-hand side. You can see this other, the source and the name. They're all displayed on the left-hand side. That means they are text field cannot be used to perform calculation or for any date or numeric specific goal. Well, right now, I'm just looking at date actually. So date is always represented on the right-hand side. And another thing to note, to know if it's not a date field, is when I want to change this format using this date here. Let's go to short date. You can see what happened. This is already in a short date format. Let's use a long date. Long date. So long date originally was long date was just going to show me maybe this 5 falls on the Saturday. To show Saturday, comma, month, and the year. So when I convert it, you'll see what happens. So let's convert this text date to a date. So the function that we need to do that is a date value function. It converts date in a form of a text to a number that represents a date in Microsoft. So double click on that and then close, because the parameter already we have is this guy here. We're converting this date. So close that and click equal to. So as soon as you do that, can you see what is happening here? I have this date. Sorry, let me do this. Yeah, can you see what we have here? So I have the date here, and I also have date on the right-hand side and the others on the left-hand side. So the ones on the right-hand side, on the right-hand side has been converted. So what I now need to do is to autofill, right? So I can now perform my, show this date as a long date to say Saturday, March 5, 1994. Can you see what just happened? Are we together? Yeah. Resume. Okay. So, so now, but I don't actually like this long date. I'll take it back to short dates. I like it when it is in a short date format. So this just to show you that you cannot convert a text date field. You have to convert it. Sorry, I have to highlight that. So autofill. So that is all we need to do. So the next thing for us to quickly do is to convert this, is to calculate the age of this date. So I want to know the age between this guy and Mercy Daniel here was given birth in 1949. Today was the what is her age? Mercy is the lady. What is her age? So we're going to just use the equal to sign, yeah, and use the date diff function. It doesn't always show, but you can use it. So starting from the start date, it's one of the first parameter is the start date. So this is start date, and the last date is the end date. So you click on this, right? So the end date, basically I already converted it to this date. So you can see a comment showing me that this is today's date. So thank you. You can delete this code so that I cannot be, it's distracting my work. So the next parameter to put in is the way you want to represent this age. You want to see it yearly or yearly or monthly. So basically it's year. You calculate age based on year. So you put your year in quotes. So we have 75. So Messi Daniel is 75. That person is old. So we're having some error, number error, numeric error here because, let me show you why. Because this guy here, J2, this today's date here, right, is not locked because we only have one record. If we don't lock it, Excel, when you drag autofill to the next, to take it to the next place, which is free. Let me just practicalize that. So under this norm, you will see that today's date has moved to this place where my cursor is. It has moved to J, I think that is number 2. So it has moved to this place here. So let me double click on it. Can you see what happened? And that's not what we want. We want it to just be J2 only, except you want me to be changing it one by one, which is not good. So Excel provide a simpler way for us to do that. So all we just need to do is to lock it. Yeah, so that's called an absolute reference. So you're using F4 to lock it. So as soon as you do that, you can autofill and you have all your records. So that's just that. So the last thing we're looking at is fuzzy matching. Fuzzy matching basically helps us to look at two tables together. We have table 1, and let me show you the name of the table. Table 1 and table 2, right? I'm trying to bring my annotation down, it's distracting me. So we have table 1, right? And table 2. You can see table name here, table 1 and table 2. So what we need to do is to highlight this guy here, right? And take it to Power Query or the join we need to do. Well, let me tell you what fuzzy join can do. Fuzzy join basically helps you to mesh two records together. So for every join you're working on, you need to identify the unique or common field. So the unique field, if you're looking at this two table, is name. So name is here and name is here. We don't have ID here and we have ID here. Here we have region, we don't have region here. We have email here, we don't have email. And we need these two records inside the first table. I need beverage and units sold inside this table. Else, this name is not looking organized, and this is so I need this table. This is the table I need to work with. But this guy here is not looking good. So what are we going to do? I need table 1 as my primary table and table 2 as my secondary table. So now you're using your normal join. It's basically going to pick the unique identifier, which is name, but the records inside are not the same. So to give you 0, no record will be returned. But using a fusion helps you to merge two records together and helps you to create criteria to pick out approximate match similar records. So we have Mercy here, we have Mercy here. So it doesn't matter what else is at the back, as far as we have Mercy, and then it presumes or assumes that this is for Mercy Daniel, right? For Joy Sokodo, it looks at Joy and picks the record. So that's what Fuzi gives you an approximate match. So I'm just going to go straight into it. Let me stop talking too much. So you go to data from the menu, and from cell range, first of all, you click on the table, right? I clicked on table 1 and go to data from table range, and it will open up the launcher, Power Query launcher for you. Power Query, this is Power Query. Yeah. I don't know why it's slow. So as soon as it does that, I want to go and open the next table. But you can see there's some error table here I already worked on before. So I'm just going to delete those things. I don't need them. You love me. Oh, okay. So I'm just going to close. I want to keep this record. So take me back to my initial table, fuzzy match. So click the second table and go to data and table range. Select from table range. So it's just going to take me back to Power Query. I can see my two tables. I've brought in my table 1 and table 2 into Power Query. So once you do fuzzy join, quickly go to you click on the one or the table that you want for your primary table. So I want table 1 as primary table because it takes the main information. I mean, I just need these two records from these two tables. You need sold and beverage. So I'm going to go to table 1 as my primary table and click on merge query. As soon as you do that, it will display a dialog box and you can select a table and match column to create a merged table. So I need to select table 1 has been selected as my primary table and to select my secondary table, which is table 2. So and then I need to state the unique identifier, which is name and name, right? And as soon as I do that, you see the selection matches 0 of 7 rows from the first table. So there's no record that came out of this table. So what I now need to do is to check the join kind I'm working with. We want to see all records here and all records here. Let's use full outer join to see all rows from both tables. I need all records from both tables, right? And so when we do that, it's still the same output. That's to tell you that the name here and the name here are not the same. So we need to put in a fuzzy matching criteria here. So use fuzzy matching to perform the match. So pick the matching, the fuzzy option. So this basically helps you to state the threshold with which you're working with. So if you're picking 0, the minimum value of 0 will cause all the values with any level of similarity to match each other, right? So, and the maximum value will only allow exact match. So if you are using 1, it will give you exact match. If you are using the minimum of 0, will cause all values with any level of similarity to match each other. So it's in between now. So we're going to use like 0.5. Note that the fuzzy exact match may ignore difference like casing. So if there's case, if it's case sensitive, if there's a word order and punctuation, it might omit it. So you have to state all those things for it to know. So let's use 0.5. And you can see what happened, even if I use 0.2, because 0 will pick similarity. So it still works for me, right? So the selection matches 7 out of 7. So I'm okay with that. So you can see, go down, you see, ignore keys and everything. I don't need all those things. I've gotten what I wanted or I want. So the next thing to do is to expand table 2 to see what's inside. So from here, you can select the fields you don't want. So if you don't want to see all the records, I don't want to see name again. You understand? I already have, that's matched the records for me. But just for reference sake, let's just, so that we can see what happened, right? So I want to bring in name. I want to bring it forward. It's fine here. So you can see Larry's, Ellison, Larry, Ellis, Joyce, Okodo, Joyce, Jeff, Benzo, Jeffy, Messi, Daniel, Messi, Dan. So it has just basically picked. So if you want to sort, you can sort, do other functions. I mean, perform other cleaning you can. But I think we're fine with this data. I just need to remove this because it doesn't speak well of my work. So I have the user and I have the user ID and I have the name, which is clear, the region, the email, and I can change this thing instead of telling me it's coming from table 2. I already know. So I already know where it's coming from. So I can change that to beverage and units sold. Can you see? Easy peasy. Yeah. So everything is under table 1. I can change this the name of this table to Fuzzy match, right? The matching. And I close. If you can see my screen, you see that something happened. Look at on the left hand side under connection, we have table 2 and fuzzy matching. This is the record I worked on, fuzzy matching. So you can see everything I put in there, the name, ID name, region, email, beverage, and unit codes, unit sold. Seriously, you have nothing to worry about. Microsoft Excel, Power Query, you can do everything you need. So I've come to the end of this lesson. I believe that you have learned a lot from this training and you put it into practice. So until the next time, stay calm and have a nice day. Thank you.